Hi, um, I'm Irene. I am the Chief Economist and Chairman of Hat Data Exchange. My job on the Hat system is design, and I design the ecosystem, I design the economic incentives and the business models. I also design a lot of the product in terms of its experiences, the consumer experience of the product, the user experience of the product. I also design all the interfaces between the product and the marketing side of things. So most of my work is very much into the economic product and marketing design. So today I thought I'll talk a little bit about what is it that we built and why did we build it that way. We've just rolled out beta about a week ago, I think. Yeah, boy, it still feels like it was a long time ago. And so there are about 120 people on the Hat Beta system now. So I thought it would be a good time to log some of my thoughts and explain a little bit of why we build the things we build. So first, I want to talk today about public and private spaces on the internet. We have digitally private spaces with your PC. So there's a computer in front of me, and that's very private to me because it's my computer. Well, that's not the case for many people, I'm sure, but it is for me. This is my computer. And that's private to me. If I don't connect it to the internet, nothing goes out, nothing comes in, and all the stuff on it are my stuff, my documents, the stuff I created, and even the photos I took, the videos, they're all in here. And that's very, very private space digitally. And on the World Wide Web, on the internet, we have this fuzziness about, is it private? Is it public? We're not really sure. When you go onto Amazon website and you decide go shopping, is every single click recorded? Yes, it is. Is everything you do seen by someone? Yes, it is, in a way. And so what we're trying to do with the Hat is try to carve out a bit of a private space on the internet that we think it's really useful for the future of the digital economy. Why do we need to do that? Partly is because whatever's on your PC is things that you created, stuff I created, documents and photos. But what's the private space on the internet could be actually created by someone else. The tag that collected my loyalty card, my interactions on Facebook, the photos I posted on Instagram, they are actually collected not by me but by the service, the company that actually provided me that service. And because we live in an API world, and because there are actually personal information to do with me, my personal data, I have the right to take it back. But take it back where? If I took it back onto my computer, it gets a bit stuck there. It's very hard to get stuff out of your computer into the internet. I mean, it's not hard if you're a computer scientist, but for a normal person, it's not that easy. So we thought it'd be good to have on the cloud private spaces for individuals, because it's really useful when you can drag all the different bits of data of you into this private space in the cloud, and then you can mix it up and you can do stuff with it. Why is this important? Well, currently the way the internet tries to solve the problem of privacy is through anonymity. That sort of creates a different problem. Yes, it solves the privacy issue to a certain extent, but it creates also all kinds of behavioral issues. We behave differently when we know we're anonymous versus when we're not anonymous. For example, you walk down the street, you're not anonymous, you're public, and you will behave in a certain way. But if you're anonymous, say you had an invisibility cloak, there are all sorts of things you can do. Some of it probably not legal, but because you're anonymous, it sort of, I'm not saying you will, but it might incite a certain sets of behavior. So what we're trying to look at is, if you look at the physical world, there are certain things we do that's private and certain things we do that's public. And sometimes they're the same thing. So I could be watching a movie in a private space, like at home. And I could be watching a movie in the public space, like in a drive-in movie or in a cinema. Now, when I'm in a private space, I do different things. You might do things that, because you're in a private space, you do them. Like, I don't know, dig your nose, whatever. And then if you're in a public space, you won't behave like that. Well, we hope not, anyway. And so, what is really important about privacy is the fact that we must be aware what is private and public, what is public. And if we're aware of that physically, in the physical world, but we're really not that aware of that in digital world. And so what we're trying to do in the creation of Market Square, Rumple and the Hat is to start the ecosystem by carving out spaces that are private. So we created Rumple because it's really your private space. It's a browser of the Hat. The Hat is private to you, but it's a container. That's all it is. It just brings all the different data of you everywhere into a container. But Rumple can wrap around it with some really, really cool services, intelligence, anything that you potentially could buy. And one of the reasons why Rumple is free and Rumple is funded by research and is given as an open source commodity is because we want the community to build on Rumple and build more cool browser for your Hat. Now, this is important because as you progress with the Hat, you realize that Rumple can do lots of stuff in the private space to help you process your data and maybe help you recall. You could even do things like in the future, search all your history of messages and stuff you talked about that you interacted on. If you mentioned Italy, might go back 3 years, 10 years to see where there was mentions of Italy and what photos you took in Italy. So it helps a lot with the way we can process information about ourselves. And that could be built on Rumple because it's a private space. And whoever builds a piece of software or a piece of service on Rumple should be aware that this is a private space and they can't take that data away somewhere else and look at it. No, they will have to sell you something or you get something, like the way you buy a piece of software and install it on your PC. It doesn't give them the right, once I install the software, to go suck everything out. Well, it shouldn't anyway. At least if they wanted to, at least they'll ask you for it. So that's the whole point of Rumple, is to give the feeling that it is actually an extension of your PC private space on the cloud that can do more stuff and buy services on it. Then we have Market Square, which is a public space platform. And that's important because that's where you go, that's the drive-in movie, that's the cinema. We know we're in a public space. And that's what we want to create, that when you're at the public space, all kinds of services get on it. Everything that you see today, Twitter, Facebook, they're all in public spaces. But in a way that's different, in a way that you can actually bring stuff from your private space to your public space and from public space back into your private space. You've got to build these interactions, and that's not easy to build. You have to think through the exchange and your perception of whether I am in private or public spaces, and that's important. If you are in physical world, you know when you stepped out of your house that you are public. You know when you come back in. On the internet, it's not really that clear, but we want you to feel that you know it without even having to think about it, that you're in Market Square, you're public, and you're in Rumple, you're private. And now, so on Market Square, we will be building and inviting services to sit on some of them are pretty cool. You can have broadcasts, like the way it's Twitter. You can have a place where you can exchange stuff about your data. You can bring your data into the public space and broadcast it, or you can bring your content to a public space and sell it. I mean, you could, Andrews was saying to me yesterday that you could bring your Dropbox folder and says, okay, go look at it and give me an offer for whatever's in the folder. Like a garage sale, digital garage sale, which is kind of cool. And that's basically what we want to do with Market Square, build different kind of services on it. And then also on Rumple, which is different kind of private type of services, like your own Siri, based on your data and recall, and all kinds of really cool services on your own data and content. And that's basically what we've built. And we've built the 2 platforms now. And so now we can really start doing some really exciting stuff in terms of the services built on both the public and private platforms. So stay tuned. Thanks for listening. Bye.